I was not thinking a lot when I got in. There was so much work to be done. We had so many problems around the world. I didn't really stop and think, what kind of email system will there be?
Does it raise judgment questions?
Well, I don't think so. I think that the facts are pretty clear that we had a lot of hard work, hard choices to make in those 4 years, and I'm very proud of the work we did. I'm very proud of all the people that I worked with. I think we really served our country well. And now the State Department has everything that they could have. So at the end of the day, I am sorry that this has been confusing to people and has raised a lot of questions, but there are answers to all these questions, and I will continue to provide those answers, and those answers have been confirmed and affirmed by the State Department and by other government officials, and eventually I'll get to testify in public, and I'm sure it will be a long and grueling time there, but all the questions will be answered, and I take responsibility, and it wasn't the best choice.
As someone who has such a record in foreign affairs, what do you think, what do you feel when you see these thousands and thousands of migrants, men, women, and children, caught between two worlds, unable to get to Germany and Austria with open arms willing to receive them?
Right.
Should the United States raise its quotas and permit more people from Syria to come in?
Well, the pictures, the stories, we've been watching this terrible assault on the Syrian people now for years, are just heartbreaking. And I think the entire world has to come together. It should not be just one or two countries, or not just Europe and the United States. We should do our part, as should the Europeans, but this is a broader global crisis. We now have more refugees than we've had in many years, I think, since the Second World War. And as we've seen, tragically, people are literally dying to escape the conflict in Syria. I think that the larger Middle East, I think Asia, I think everybody should step up and say we have to help these people. And I would hope that under the aegis of the United Nations, led by the Security Council, and certainly by the United States, which has been such a generous nation in the past, we would begin to try to find ways to help people get to safety in other lands. However, that does not solve the problem. And the problem is one that the entire world now sees doesn't just affect the Syrian people, it affects all of us. That's what I've been saying for years. That's why I advocated for a more robust response when Assad began his onslaught on the Syrian people. And I think we have got to come to grips with the fact that this is not going away, and the millions of people who are fleeing need safe places to be, but the conflict needs to be brought under control. And as has been confirmed repeatedly by the inspectors general over and over, I did not send or receive any material marked classified. We dealt with classified material on a totally different system. I dealt with it in person. I dealt with it on secure phone lines. I had the traveling team, the technical team that went with me, and they set up tents so that when I was traveling, anything that was classified would be, protected from prying eyes. I take classified material very, very seriously, and we followed all the rules on classified material. Now, what happens when you ask, or when a Freedom of Information request asks, that information be made public? All the agencies get to weigh in, and what you're hearing from other agencies is it wasn't classified at the time, but now we think it should be. And that is not uncommon. In fact, if I'd had just a government account that was on the unclassified system, they would go through the same process. So again, it's confusing, and that's why I'm trying to do a better job of explaining it to the American people.